Grigori Rasputin, saint or sinner? I must confess I had considered the Russian mystic something of a charlatan, possibly swayed by a very hostile press, but the Margrave would have none of it. I sat with him and the Countess, in his fabulous wine cellar, imbibing, appropriately enough given the subject, several bottles of deep red Malbec. I recount for you the highlights of our conversation, at least those that I can recall. Holy man or drunken charlatan? Rasputin's life defies easy labels. A peasant mystic who swayed an empire, Rasputin was devout, yet indulged in wine and women. So, what makes someone holy? Is it purity or something wilder? A voice from within, a dance with the divine, or a wrestle with madness? Rasputin wasn't a monk in a pristine robe. He was a Siberian shaman of sorts, steeped in the Khlyst tradition, a sect that believes sin could lead to salvation. For them, diving into temptation and rising through repentance brought you closer to God. Rasputin prayed fervently, but partied just as hard. Was this contradiction hypocrisy or a path to the divine? Shamanic traditions across the world, from Siberia to the Americas, see holiness not in perfection, but in altered states of consciousness. Shamans enter ecstatic trances, hear inner voices, and bridge the human and divine. Rasputin's visions and healings, like curing the Tsarevich's hemophilia, suggest he tapped into this ancient power. But at what cost? Compare Rasputin to Arsenie Boca, a Romanian priest revered as a saint. Boca was disciplined, ascetic, yet rumored to have studied with Rudolf Steiner, a mystic who blended esoteric wisdom with Christianity. Like Rasputin, Boca was said to perform miracles, healings, visions, but his holiness was orderly, traditional. The godly perfection one would perhaps expect of a saint. Did Rasputin's wildness make him less holy, or just more human? Then there's G.I. Gurdjieff, a mystic who, like Rasputin, was called both genius and fraud. Gurdjieff's teachings mix sacred dances, esoteric knowledge, and a knack for miraculous acts. He too indulged in drink and charisma, suggesting a secret tradition, perhaps like Rasputin's Khlyst roots, or Boca's rumored esoteric studies. Gurdjieff himself claimed to have kept company with the mythical Sarmong Brotherhood. These men walked a razor's edge between divine and dangerous. The Bible itself blurs the line. Prophets like Elijah or John the Baptist were half mad, half holy, outsiders who heard God's voice and shook the world. They were often to be found in the wild places, living on honeyed locusts or ascetics like the Essenes. Jesus himself was accused of being a drunkard and a glutton. Matthew 11:19, the Son of Man came eating and drinking, and they say, "Here is a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners." But wisdom is proved right by her deeds. Holiness, it seems, isn't always polished. It's raw, messy, a wrestling with the divine. Did Rasputin hear God or the devil? He likely asked himself the same, even referring to himself on occasion as a devil. Being a holy man, or woman, takes a toll. Shamans often speak of a divine madness, a burden of seeing beyond the veil. Rasputin's binges, his affairs, were they rebellion, weakness, or a need to cut loose from the weight of his visions? The Khlyst believed sin was a path to grace, but even Rasputin wrestled with doubt. Was his inner voice divine or demonic? Perhaps many times he wasn't sure himself. In shamanic traditions, the call to serve is brutal. Illness, visions, or madness mark the chosen. Rasputin's life, his wanderings, his survival of poison and bullets, mirrors this ordeal. Gurdjieff faced similar trials, his teachings hinting at a hidden cost. Even Boca, serene as he seemed, endured persecution, his faith tested in communist prisons. Today, we still grapple with what's holy. Is it the preacher on the corner, the mystic in the mountains, or the flawed soul chasing an inner voice? Rasputin, Gurdjieff, Boca, they weren't saints in white. They were lightning rods, channeling something bigger, even if it burned them. Rasputin's story asks us, is holiness perfection, or is it the courage to dance with the divine, flaws and all? To hear a voice others can't, to bear its weight, to risk madness for truth. Maybe the holy isn't found in purity, but in the struggle between sin and salvation, doubt and faith, human and divine. Grigori Rasputin, sinner, shaman, or saint? The question is ours to answer.